Hey guys, how's it going? Daniel here. Today we're taking a look at the 11-inch iPad Pro and the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Now the 11-inch retails for $800, 12.9-inch retails for $900. It's always $100 more for the larger version. One of the great things here is that with the base models, we do get 128 gigs of internal storage as opposed to the previous generation, which only had 64 gigabytes. That's the one I had bought last time, and it was a huge mistake. Basically, over the past year and a half or so, I've been playing around with deleting games and everything. So the fact that this is 128, this is really great because you're gonna be able to fit a lot of stuff in here without having to, break the bank and upgrade to a larger size. Now, of course, this is a size comparison because now the iPad is totally 100% a viable laptop replacement because now it supports mice and trackpads, and we're gonna get the new Magic Keyboard in May, and that's gonna be really, really cool. So it stands to reason that the obvious thing you'd think is, what should I get now? Because for $100 more, I'm gonna get that larger screen. It's more of a traditional like laptop size. You're gonna get a larger keyboard, whatever keyboard case you get for it, the keyboard is gonna be larger and more full size than the one you get for the 11-inch. So come the Magic Keyboard in May, of course, the one that's gonna feel like an actual laptop is going to be the 12.9-inch model, not the 11-inch. And I can tell you, I had bought the 12.9-inch for myself thinking I'd be able to change now that, we can use this basically as a laptop, and I can't do it. I cannot make the switch. Maybe I've gotten used to the 11-inch, but the 11-inch is so good. I think the perfect size is in between both of these, like a 12-inch screen or like a 12 point something inch screen, but not 12.9-inch screen. This is a little bit too big for me. And I think this is one simple logic thing that you can apply to everything if you're gonna choose it. So basically, do you want a laptop that you can sometimes use as a tablet, or do you want a tablet that you can sometimes use as a laptop? Either or here, that makes the choice very easy. For me, I want a tablet that I can sometimes use as a laptop because I prefer the tablet form factor and the tablet features. This means, for me, it's the 11-inch. If you prefer to have a laptop most of the time, something that you're constantly going to be opening and closing to type in and maybe use the touchscreen, etc., then you're going to want the larger one because you can use that larger one just like a traditional laptop. And when you want to do some notes or some special graphic stuff or whatever, or remove it, you can go ahead and remove it. So just to give you an idea of my workflow of how I use the iPad and why I ended up keeping the smaller one, and that is basically I hold it like this a lot. Right here, what you see right there, I do this a lot, and I didn't really notice it that I did it that often until I started trying this one out. And basically, I'm constantly holding this like this. If not, I'm just hovering over like my lap a little bit. I'm never really propping it up against anything, and that is something that I kind of need to do with the larger one. So the fact that I can just hold it like this, use the Apple Pencil, that makes it so much better. And over time, over like 5-minute period, this doesn't feel nearly as heavy as the larger brother right here. When we grab this one over here, it's already, I can really tell the difference now. And while it is still doable, it's definitely something I can still hold and like use to, use an Apple Pencil right here. The problem starts becoming, if you're gonna put a case on this or anything, it's gonna make it even more bulky than what it is right now. So it's just gonna keep getting bulkier. So here we have the Smart Folio, which we checked out in another video. And if this was like the Smart Keyboard or the Magic Keyboard, this thing's gonna get really heavy and it's gonna stop being much of a tablet, as I was mentioning. And that's why that reasoning comes to mind, because now it's just not as easy to grab and open up and check email or anything. You really have to kind of commit to it, open it up, prop it up or hold it. And now you're holding this big thing and then check your email. So I don't think it's as easy as a thing as the 11-inch model. Another interesting thing that's not something I thought I wouldn't like, and I was playing some Hearthstone on this, and I thought the screen was actually too big, and that might be just because of the way that I play Hearthstone. I think if you were playing with a mouse and a keyboard on here, that'd be much better if you were playing just like an actual laptop mode with a mouse. The way I play it usually is that I'm holding it like this, and I basically just kind of play with one hand like this and choose the cards and stuff. And I couldn't do it. It didn't feel enjoyable. The screen was too big. It kind of didn't make Hearthstone look as good as it does on the smaller version for some reason. So that kind of is another thing that kind of put me off the larger size. I think one of the great things about the smaller version, it's that the screen is still big enough for you to be able to do things. I think the only times when the screen isn't big enough is when I don't have like a keyboard and the keyboard is taking up space. So basically here, if I want to do a note or something, right? And we continue here, not now, and go to make a note. You can see that the keyboard now takes up way too much space. It's like almost more than half of the screen of the tablet. When you do a note on here, it doesn't take up that much space because the tablet is so much larger. So you still have a lot of space to read what you're writing and everything. However, when you connect it to a keyboard here, so let's go ahead and put the keyboard case, whoops. And now of course the keyboard is gonna go away. Now we have all this space to see what we're writing, right? And we can type away on the bottom. The screen just became much larger essentially to what I'm used to when you're using the cover. And the same thing is going to apply to the larger brother as well. However, when that happens, now I have an app that is so big, and it's basically calling for me to multitask. However, in most cases, I never really find myself multitasking that much or opening another thing on the iPad for some reason. Maybe I've just gotten used to just switching apps real quick and dragging things from one app to an app without using the multitasking pane. So if you do multitask a lot, maybe the larger version is better. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. This tablet is stunning. However, it is very big. I mean, if you just want to carry it around and watch some Netflix, it's not really a thing to really, do very comfortably. If you just imagine this as a straight up laptop replacement, and you don't imagine that you're going to be walking around with it or anything, you're just going to continue using it the way you use your laptop. And sometimes you can undock it and use it handheld, to draw or whatnot, then that's where this one really works very well. So I think that basically settles the answer for most people, I think, because again, this is very large. This one isn't as big as I would want it to be. I want it to be a little bit bigger than this, like if we filled up like the rest of this, that'd be a nice size screen. But regardless, I think this one's just too big. This one is not too small. This one is just okay of a size for me. And I am fine with just okay of a size. And also at the end of the day, when I think about it, it's actually really cool to have a little tablet that's able to do so much and that I can just remove it and use it as a normal tablet. And it's kind of like a mini netbook, I remember when I was small, I always wanted like the small little Sony Vaio ones, the mini computers. I don't know if people remember those. The ones where you could flip it up almost like a sidekick of sorts. Then you had the mini keyboard there because I thought it was so cool that you could get a computer that was so small. And this is, at the end of the day, this is a really cool form factor that's able to stay so small yet do everything just as well as this larger version. So that's just something I wanted to share with you guys. Another one that's not going to apply to as many people is for graphic design and drawing. I found myself not liking the larger version because whenever you go on something like Procreate or whatnot to draw, I find myself ending up on the glass more often with the larger version. So with this version, I can pretty much be here and with the pencil still be drawing and kind of rest my hand on the edge of the tablet while still reaching basically the middle of the tablet. With the 12.9-inch model, that is not something I can do. And it kind of annoys me because I'm constantly smudging the screen even more and my hand is gliding, and I do not like wearing one of those drawing gloves. I have one, I don't like wearing it. I like to just draw just whenever I want without having to go search for the gloves. So on here, I'm basically always resting my hand on here because the screen is just so big. It's gonna end up resting on here because I can't reach from the sides because it's such a big tablet. That's just a little thing that annoyed me while using it and while trying to commit to the larger size. So at the end of the day, those are the reasons why I would choose the 11-inch over the 12.9-inch. And also the reasons why, if my workflow was different, I would choose the 12.9-inch over the 11-inch. Hopefully this gave you some different ideas on how to see it and maybe even helped you out. But if you have any more questions, feel free to comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And aside from that, I will catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.